All right, folks, judging by the loud buzzing, you can see we got lights, we got our signals and flashers all working. Everything in the back is working. I don't have anything for backup lights, so we'll set that up later, but I think that looks pretty good back there. It'll look better once I get all my stuff in place. Hold on. Let's turn this noisy stuff off. There we go. Look at that. I am pretty happy where we're getting here. So that took a little while. I got all that stuff kind of pretty much all wired up. So that's good to go for now. I think I want to continue with the trend and just do a little bit of stuff inside. Switch gears a little. I'm stuck on the wiring dealio right now, so I want to keep hammering at it here. So I'm thinking I'm going to play with this stuff. See if I can get... We'll see if I can make that original gauge stuff work. If not, I do have some different senders and stuff. The speedometer is really the only thing I need. I didn't spend a lot on the gauges, so if I do use them, they're not the, it's not a big deal. Only reason why I'm looking at just using these is because this one has that optical sensor in the back for the speedometer, for the cruise control. So I'm debating on just grabbing these and smashing them in and just actually building a cluster to hold all this, because it wouldn't be too bad. I think if I did a double panel, if I made a panel that would hold these, and I can do the one screw, like the screws that they got, and kind of hold them from back and cut this, and then we can do a fake panel on front, which would clean this up, and we would just see what we want. If that makes sense, I don't know. But then we would be using all the stock dash stuff, which would be kind of cool. We'd have to dismantle the wiring on there and then wire all these things individually, because they just poke through here. So if you look in the back, you can't really tell. I'll pull one out and you'll kind of see what I mean here. All right, so in the case of, say, the fuel gauge, when you pull it out, there's 3 prongs on there. So one is clearly like your ground, one's power, and then one's your sending unit. So it doesn't really matter here. If I fasten this into the dash in some way, it'll work just fine. I just have to crimp onto each of these wires individually. So that's that being said, I should be able to maybe, I don't know, maybe if we set this up a little different, because that one is a big one, but I might be able to fit 2 on either side. I don't know. I'm trying to fit it in the smaller space that is the dash in this truck. So I know the original one looks way better, but I don't have the senders, and I'm really trying to retain the stock cruise control, which I don't really know how to do that other than reusing that speedo. So these are the original gauges. I don't have any of the sending units, so a lot of this just doesn't help me, but my plan is basically to make this panel so I can just bolt it in, and whatever, down the road, if I ever find stuff or want to switch this up, I can just unbolt this out and I can bolt this one back in. So it kind of is what it is. We're just using junk that we got, so I'm kind of sticking to that theme, keeping our budget pretty small here. Okay, yeah, I think I'm just going to play with this for a little bit. So we're going to dismantle this. We're going to make a quick template, and then I don't know, hopefully the stuff works, and then we'll figure out how to wire everything, which, yeah, that's just my problem. Not so much you guys need to know any of that, but all we're going to do is on the back of this, there's a big road map right here. So when I put that plug in, you're going to see if I just follow this back, a lot of them go to dash lights and stuff, so that's not a big deal. But if it comes to the sending unit part, and if a lot of them are piggybacking off of one, then that's either a ground. See these? This one goes there, so that's going to be a sending unit. This one, no, that's another sending unit. So I'm thinking these are like, this one's a ground because it shares. I don't know. Whatever. It's like I say, if you road map it and a lot of things are piggybacking using the same thing, I have a very good chance it's like a ground circuit, or like that one's probably a ground circuit because the bulb is actually sharing it, and then this bulb is sharing it, so that's going to be a ground. And then this one, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to get into it. All I know is if I follow this, it's going to boogie somewhere and I'm going to know what it is. So like for the signals, I don't know where they are, but we'll pretend that's a signal. So I know I'm going to be, you know, if this is it, I'm going to peel that wire out. I'm going to wire it to a signal, the other one's to the other signal, the headlight, and all that. And then we're going to build a fake panel, like I say, that is similar to the shape of that thing. And then we're going to be able to bolt it in. That's what my plan is to do. I don't really want to modify or do anything with this one because I want to be able to put this one back in if I ever wanted to. So whatever I'm doing, I'm going to cut out this shape. We're going to add some tangs on there like stock, and I'm going to try to make those original, like those gauges, fit into something like that. Sound like a plan, bud? You don't know, eh? Well, I took everything apart. I kind of traced out that dash, so that's the opening that we got. I can kind of stack these two over here. I can kind of run this one right there. That ugly fuel gauge, I can still use it, and then it should give us enough room under there to still do the volt gauge because it sort of fits underneath there in such a way. So this thing's not too important to me, but if I can put it in there, I may as well. So we'll have that. This will go here. Therefore, when it's said and done, I can probably, you know, like I'll do the high beam indicator somewhere, and I can probably do the signals and maybe a high beam there. I don't know, something like that. We'll figure that out. But I'll figure out this pattern. So we're going to draw this out on the plasma. I'm going to roughly figure out how big I need for these gauges to be, because this one, as much as going on, I'll be able to trim and do whatever. So then that one will be there. This one will kind of hover. If I can do the outline just right, that I can screw these two, then all we got to do, in my eyes, is get a piece of plexi that will cover all of this stuff and then kind of be the face for everything, if that makes sense. I think that would work. Or even behind it. I don't know. Some way I'm going to make it all work. That's what we got. So we're going to use it. I think it's going to work. So the plan now is go to the fast cut. We're going to go and basically try to CAD what I think that should look like. And then we'll probably do it on just some junk steel, just so I can visualize what all that's going to look like going through it and whatnot. And then, I don't know, see what happens. Should work. Okay, so I've seen Carl using one of these. This is, I don't know, it's called Tracer or Shaper or something like that. I don't know where the website is. Maybe you can actually scan that thing or something, I don't know. Maybe that'll help you, I don't have a clue. My lighting's not good here. Anyways, the idea is, I'm trying to get an accurate representation of these things. And I think these are all this. No, there's two different styles ish. There's kind of like three different styles. Anyways, I don't know how many I can do with this thing. What's supposed to happen is I'm supposed to trace this out, and then I'm supposed to be able to take a picture of this, and it'll make a perfect file that I can use in my software. So, and if I do these shapes just perfect, then I know how everything's going to fit. So let's see. I don't know how this is going to work. I'm going to try to put all of these in here. I'm hoping this one's the same. Yeah. That's pretty good. So let's see if I can do all these shapes and if it'll let me do that. I don't know. But if... And it's supposed to have the dimensions all correct. So, we'll see. I'm gonna make this thing go to here because I don't know how this thing's gonna like what I'm doing, but we'll see. So this one's supposed to be a circle. This would be really hard for me to draw. And again, for some reason, I'll make that do that. I really don't know how much it's going to like that I did that. I've never actually used this yet. Just seems like a very cool tool to have when you do a cardboard pattern, and it's very hard to draw some of it. So this kind of reminds me of like that Arc Droid. I don't know if this will get into there. Nope. Well, we can pretend. Let's do this one. Should be able to smooth these out after, if it'll do the initial drawing for me. Make my life easier. How far are these off? We'll try it. How far off could it possibly be? Probably a lot. Shoot. I really don't I really don't know how well this is going to work. Well, let's find out. Get my phone. So now apparently on the back side there's a thing I gotta scan, which gets me to a site. Oh crap. And then from my understanding I just I don't know if I can get away with all of these. I don't know anything about this. This is the first time using it. So this thing just wants to see my frame. And I guess somehow. Look at this. Look at that. Golly. Okay. Okay. I guess I can save this. Okay, well, let's go to the computer because I started drawing that and it didn't work very well. Just trying to figure out what's what. So that one's the water. That one's the temperature. And that one will be the volt. So I have to copy this one because it's the speedometer. And it needs to be the other way. There are two outlines there, which I don't know anything about, so we'll just blindly trace two and see what happens here. Copy. So we got, now we at least know how the outline of everything's going to be. There must be a lot going on because this thing is very laggy now. Anyways, seems to work. I'm going to start placing these around because you can see how I was blindly trying to do this. Well, now if I at least move these things around, I'll actually know where it's going to be and the holes that I'm going to have to drill. Let's see if I can get rid of some of this so there's not so much detail in it, and then whatever. I'm going to just plug away here and we'll try this, see if I can make this work in the first shot. Well, that worked out really well. That little shaper thing or whatever worked phenomenal just for getting the gauges, like the holes lined up. I am blown away. So, this is my layout. I mean, I'm not happy with it. I'm happy with it. It's just not what I really wanted originally, but okay, so everything sits in place. Let's see if I can push from behind here. I mean, look at it. It just works. That is awesome. So they're all in where they're supposed to be. I'm happy with that. The only thing we're going to do here, I was going to do other things, but I decided, because there's nothing going on here, I was just going to do my signals and my high beam in there. I'll do them with a little LED. The only fault I see with this whole setup right now is that there's no backlight. So overall, everything is really good. I think what I'm going to do is just do another panel, but without the screws. And we'll make it sit ahead, and then we can just kind of sneak a couple lights into there just to put a glow around everywhere. But golly, like, it just worked. I am super happy with this thing. This is great. Like, I don't know. How can you not like that? So this is our layout. Kind of seen me put it all together. So screw it in. I'm not exactly sure how well this is going to work without any, it's not sealed. So I don't know if dirt is going to destroy this. I guess time will tell. I would hope it's not going to get that dirty in the truck, but for most of it doesn't matter. But we're going to have to wire this thing. Yeah, like I say, the big picture, I'm not exactly sure how, at least the speedometer, how that thing's going to behave. But we still have our optic sensor there, so I don't know. With any luck, our cruise, everything is going to work. I'm just really happy. I mean, this could have went down a little. Things could have moved a little, but hey, first shot, that's a win. So, like I said, I think the next thing is I'm going to cut the same panel, but without any of the holes, so that I can hover it on top, and we'll be able to cover it with some plexi. And yeah, then I can kind of put some LED lights in there. It's kind of the thought. I got to get some more. I was looking, I only have the blue ones, but I'm going to sink them behind. These are usually way too bright, and I hit them with a Sharpie. But I do have at least the covers. I can set it up that I can push the bulbs in later. So we got that, and then I don't know how overly bright it's going to be. Somewhere here I actually had some little strips of LED. So I don't know if I just put that behind there, if that's going to be too bright. We'll have to experiment with that. And then I'll have to find a little chunk of plexi, because I want to cover it, and we'll just have the reset poking through there. So I don't know. Should be pretty much just built our own cluster. That's the idea. The next step after is we're going to have to map this out. I almost would love to pull this sheet off and use it, but I don't think that's really a feasible option. We're gonna have to snip that plug and go wire by wire and do everything. So I'll probably save you guys that grief. That's gonna be my evening of happiness. Anyways, yeah, I think I'm gonna go in, have some supper, and then we're gonna keep tackling the rest of that cluster there. Well, folks, I've been at it for a few hours. I'm pretty happy with the results. Still got to deal with this, but I ended up just putting bulbs in. I went a little thicker than I wanted with the thing. I basically cut everything on the plasma table, so I made the cluster, I made that. Anyways, let's look at it. This is not sitting as it should. It's got to fit in better, but I'm going to take it back out to wire it. But like when you sit, it's actually not bad. It's a little deeper than I wanted it to be, but in the end, once this stuff's set up right, I should be pretty happy because I can see everything. This one's a little hard, but I think it's tilted down right now. I think if I had this thing in the right way, let me see if I can do it. There you go. Well, I think it's better. This one's a little goofed. It's a little hard to see, but whatever. Maybe I should have made these bigger. I guess I still can. It's hindsight. This one's good. That one's like the hole should have gone up, I guess, because of the angle I'm at. I guess I can always just tilt it some more because it's not a permanent spiel there. What's to say a guy doesn't tilt it back some more? Anyways, this is good. I'm happy with it. I had some plexiglass. It's not perfect, but it does the part. It'll be all right. But yeah. Well, it's not 100% the way I wanted to go, but it'll do. It'll be fine. I'm going to try to dismantle this thing. Well, I don't really got to dismantle. I just got to trace this all out so I can go pinch, and I want to make like a connector so I can take the dash out and actually unplug it, plug it back in. The way I built it is not too bad because you can actually, if I have to replace a gauge, I can actually take it out and put a different one in. So it just unbolts from the back, pops in. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, it's pretty good. So, hindsight, I feel like I should have made those up, but if I can tilt it back, it's perfectly fine like that. So I might do that as a compromise, and I'll just add a little bit around here just to, for a shoulder inside the truck. Yeah, that's one way I'll fix it, because right now it sits like this, and then I can barely see that bottom gauge. So if I tilt it back, it'll be good. It lights up nice. I don't know, I'm pretty happy with everything. Anyways, I guess we're on to wiring this sucker up. So my plan is I'm going to have everything here to a pigtail, to which I'll have to another pigtail that I can go plug and bump everything together. All right, folks. You can see by all the chaos, well, that's half of it. This thing was all plumbed through, or I showed that before. I traced it all, and I think we got everything working there. All I did is I basically just did an ohm meter. I had to pull all the bulbs out because they ground and they make a circuit. So anyways, we traced everything back. We have that all done inside. I kind of saved you the step of having to suffer through everything that I did, but yeah. So I have it. The dash here is piggyback. We got some plugs in there like that. So I got these all. The only thing I don't have is the high I got the high beam, but I don't have signal. So I got to do that yet before I can button this up. But tomorrow I'm going to get this thing I wanted for the dash, because right now at that angle it's not good for me. I need to tilt it back. So basically we got to build a hood for this thing yet. So we'll do the hood, that'll sit in there, tilt that back. I still got to run the speedo cable in. This is the one for the cruise control deal. Yeah, it's pretty ugly in there, but that's kind of what happens when you use all the original stuff. But anyways, you turn it on, gauges work, things happen, so I'm happy about that. So yeah, we got to tilt that. We also have to deal with the defrost. I want to just get the vents in, or whatever I'm going to do for vents, get those in, and then we have to tidy up here. This thing's not bad. We just got to build a brace into there, and then that thing will be good. And then I think that's kind of there. Then we just got to go through, tidy this up as good as I can for what it is. and smash our dash in, and I can get the steering column up, and we're one step closer. I know it's not that much fun, but it was actually kind of fun building that cluster. I wish I made it, like I say, I wish I made it a little smaller, or a little thinner. It's a little deep, but yeah, whatever. It works. It's the original gauges, they all work. I'm happy about it. The oil sender, something must be wrong with that wire. I ran a fresh wire to it, and well, it works, so that's cool. So we're gonna kind of, if I can get that done, then pretty much that buttons up most of the electrical. We'll still have to like do the heater and a few things, but like you say, I showed the heater before, and this thing needs a whole bunch of work, so not a big deal. But it's kind of getting late, and I've been wiring for hours, so I don't feel like playing around with that anymore. So I think I'm gonna call it a night, and then tomorrow we're gonna get back at it and see if I can get the dash all working in there. Alrighty, new day. I plan to get this dash figured out and finished. So we're gonna add a little bit to it to get that thing to sit in there correctly. And I have a friend of mine coming today. He wants to get some stuff cut on the fast cut. So I'm gonna clean that up, get that ready for him. And well, I don't know. I think we just keep troopering along here. The plan for my cluster is to build that little bit of a hood so I can lean the cluster back, and then we actually have a nice place to screw it in. So yeah, that's going to be the next thing, is to build a bed. I got to figure out how far back I'm going to tilt it, and then I can kind of figure out how to do this realm that will sit flushy into here that we can screw, and then I'll figure out how to get that sheet back onto it for my my cover, my lens thing, this thing. Get that back on there. Well, right, folks. I think we got this. I am happy with this. All right, I didn't plug anything in. Anyways, should be able to see. I'm happy. I can see it really good. We ended up just cutting a simple little bracket. I tried to calculate how much like kick it was going to get, and it seemed to work perfect. We got our face on here. I think I should do a little bit of glue in. I think I'm going to pull it out. I'll glue around the cluster so nothing can come through around here. I don't know if I'm going to glue. I'll probably glue this edge, but I think it's just going to kind of be what it is. Not sweating myself over it, but overall, I am really happy the way that turned out. Okay, everything hooked up. Look at that, pretty mint. No idea if my battery kind of left it plugged in. Mint. Got oil pressure. I don't know about the volt gauge, doesn't seem to work right. Fuel. Alright, maybe that's why they didn't have the gauge hooked up. They just had really bad oil pressure. I don't know. Let's not worry about it for now. Alright, so I had to trim that back panel. I got that down. I haven't done the upper part yet. I'm going to pull this out one more time, and like I say, I'm going to try to seal up around the gauges just so garbage doesn't get in there. Yeah. I kind of think that's about as far as we're going to get in this one. As much as I think I wanted to get a whole lot further, I think we did pretty darn good, honestly. I kind of carved apart a perfectly good S10 dash and kind of put this thing all together. So this is a pretty good dealio, I think. Well, folks, I think we are good to go. I didn't quite get as much as I wanted done, but that was actually quite a bit of work. The wiring was what's actually sucked. But steering column is in, fully attached. I guess it's got the typical GM where the little bolt gets loose in the steering column. We got to fix that because it's got that wiggle. But that's tight. It's bolted down. Everything's in. So this thing's like 100%. Have this in here, but I'm going to have to pull it out because I think what we got to do yet is figure out how we're going to do the defrost. I'm pretty sure I'm going to come in right here. So because there's no room here because there's all the mechanicals for the window opener doodads. So I think I'm going to come in off either side and just kind of blow across. Hopefully that works. Hopefully we don't get a little frosty section there. I guess we could always kind of come across and do a second smaller, tinier vent here to blow up, but we'll stick with this for now, see how it goes. Just however far we can get across there is the plan. So if I look here on this side, I can get at least this far. So that should, as long as we got a lot of air movement, that should be okay. I don't know. Time will tell. That's all I know. Got to use it to figure that out. Anyways, I think that's as far as we're gonna get with this one. I don't know if we're gonna tackle the vents or anything next. I think we're gonna actually put some fenders on the back of this truck. I think that is the next step. I want it to look truck-like. That's kind of the plan. Or look finished. A little closer to finished, because it just doesn't look quite right yet. These fenders, like I say, are gonna work phenomenal. So we're gonna get those things. We're gonna have to build them up and do some stuff to get them to fit on here. And then we'll have to figure that part out, but we'll see where we get. Anyways, folks, as always, I want to thank you all for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. Later. All right, folks, I figure I'll end this here because I've been doing a whole whack of wiring yet, so we'll see the finished product inside. This is where we are at. You can see I got most of this tidied up. It's still a hot mess, but there's not a whole lot of wires hanging down there. We've actually got in a dome light. We got a little interior light. I kind of did the old, everything was there from the truck. I don't know what this is. I think this is cruise, something with the cruise. Yet, I think that's what that is. I'm not sure, but whatever. Yeah. So for the most part, we are done the electrical side of things. So, yeah. And on that note, I'm going in and we're calling this a video. Later, folks. Ready, buddy? Let's go.